66 million years ago, the skies weren't ruled by birds, they were ruled by monsters. Imagine standing on a plane where the shadow of a creature larger than a giraffe drifts over you. Its wings stretch wider than a fighter jet, its head the size of a man, and with one powerful beat of those wings, it vanishes into the clouds. This isn't fantasy, this was Quetzalcoatlus, the largest flying animal to ever exist. A pterosaur so huge, scientists once questioned if it could even fly at all. But what really happened to this airborne giant? How did it dominate the prehistoric skies? And why did it disappear forever? Our story begins in 1971 in the dusty plains of Texas. A young graduate student named Douglas Lawson was searching for fossils when he stumbled upon something that made no sense. A fragment of bone, hollow, lightweight, but nearly as thick as a man's arm. Nearby, more bones followed, a jaw as long as a bicycle handlebar, and a wing joint larger than a dinner plate. What Lawson had uncovered would rewrite history. When the skeleton was reconstructed, it revealed an animal with a wingspan over 36 feet, larger than a small plane. It stood as tall as a giraffe when on the ground, and yet it was no bird. It was a pterosaur, a relative of dinosaurs, but from a completely different branch of evolution. Lawson named it Quetzalcoatlus northropi, after the Aztec god Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. And the comparison was fitting, because this creature was almost mythological in scale. When scientists first saw the size of Quetzalcoatlus, one question echoed through every lab. How could something this big ever fly? You see, flight is a cruel trade-off. The larger you get, the more weight you carry. But lift doesn't scale up evenly. For decades, researchers argued that Quetzalcoatlus might have been too heavy to take off at all. Some believed it was a scavenger, stalking carcasses on the ground like a giant stork. Others imagined it using cliffs and strong winds, gliding like a hang glider over prehistoric plains. But modern studies have flipped that theory on its head. By analyzing fossilized bone structure and flight mechanics, scientists discovered that Quetzalcoatlus was an engineering masterpiece of evolution. Its bones were hollow, yet incredibly strong, built like carbon fiber tubes. Its muscles were massive, especially the ones that powered its four-limbed launch system. Unlike birds that leap with two legs, Quetzalcoatlus would vault into the air using all four, like a living catapult. Within seconds, this creature could reach speeds over 50 miles per hour and glide effortlessly for kilometers. A true king of the skies. So what did this airborne giant do once it took flight? Quetzalcoatlus lived near rivers and floodplains, the same environments that swarmed with dinosaurs like Triceratops and Alamosaurus. It wasn't built to chase prey midair like a hawk. Instead, it was a silent aerial stalker. It likely soared high, using its incredible eyesight to spot small animals or carrion far below. When it saw an opportunity, it could fold its wings and plunge down with terrifying precision, snatching up prey in its toothless beak before leaping back into the sky. But perhaps the most haunting thing is this: for nearly 20 million years, nothing challenged it. No predator, no rival. It was evolution's perfect experiment, a blend of bird, reptile, and myth. Until something unimaginable happened. 66 million years ago, a 10-kilometer-wide asteroid slammed into what is now Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. The impact unleashed firestorms, earthquakes, and a global darkness that lasted years. Plants died, food chains collapsed, and for the giants of the land and air, there was no escape. Quetzalcoatlus, dependent on warm air currents, open landscapes, and abundant prey, vanished. The entire lineage of pterosaurs was wiped out. But nature, as always, found a way to fill the empty sky. From the ashes, small feathered dinosaurs, what we now call birds, inherited the air. They would go on to become the pigeons, hawks, and eagles we see today. Every flap of their wings is a faint echo of that ancient titan. For decades, Quetzalcoatlus remained one of science's greatest mysteries. A ghost of the sky, known only from scattered fossils and endless debates. But in 2021, after 50 years of research, paleontologists finally reconstructed a full 3D model, confirming that yes, it really could fly. It wasn't fantasy. It wasn't myth. It was real. The largest flyer the world has ever known. And here's what's poetic. This creature ruled the air at the same time T-Rex ruled the ground. Two titans, one above, one below, sharing a world that would vanish overnight. When you look up at a bird today, it's easy to forget the sky was once home to monsters. But every shadow that crosses the sun is a reminder. The power of life to reach impossible heights, and the inevitability of its fall. So what happened to the biggest animal to ever fly? It soared higher, farther, and longer than anything before or since. But when the world changed, even the sky wasn't safe. Yet in a way, it never truly left. Because in every seagull gliding over the ocean, in every eagle carving through the wind, there's a whisper of Quetzalcoatlus, the ancient ruler of the skies. And that is what happened to the biggest animal to ever fly.